Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's lecture, co-organized by the Center for Livable Cities, CLC, and Urban Redevelopment Authorities, URA. My name is Boon Ping. I'm the MC for today's lecture. The CLC lecture series is one of the CLC's platform for urban thought leaders to distill and share knowledge on livable and sustainable cities. Today, we are delighted to bring Dr. Yasui Miki to share with us on how place management is organized in Japan. The policies involved and success stories from the partnership models in Tokyo and Osaka. Trained in urban planning and engineering, Dr. Yasui is a professor from the Hosei University and the vice chair of Japan Area Management Network. She's also a board member of the International Downtown Association. Dr. Yasui's research interests are in urban governance, public-private partnership, and planning administration. Her latest publications are Urban Development After 2020 and Community Development Based on Mutual Learning PPPP Collaboration. The format for today's lecture will be keynote presentations by Dr. Yasui, followed by a panel discussion and Q&A sessions with Mr. Fujii Hiroaki and Mr. Tanikawa Taku from the Mitsubishi estate, who are the place management agents for Otemachi, Marunouchi, Yurakucho area in Tokyo, and Ms. Takada Azusa from Hankyu Hanshin Holding Groups, who is the place management agent from Osaka, Umeda area. The discussion will be moderated by Ms. Chou, Group Director from URA's Conservation and Urban Design Group. We will appreciate it that you could hold your questions until the Q&A session. Thank you. Without further ado, we will invite Dr. Yasui on stage to deliver her presentation. Dr. Yasui, please.
Good afternoon. Oh, I have to say here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Miki Yasui, coming from Tokyo, Japan. As he introduced me, I basically teach at the university, but today I came here representing Japan Area Management Network. It's a kind of the alliance of the so-called place management organization in Japan. So I'd like to give you an overview about our organization as well as the place management in Japan. Okay, well, I would like to touch a little bit about our network organization. We are a membership organization with about 150, as you see, with our slogan of exchange, spread, and deepen. We do a variety of activities, including seminars, small trainings on special theme or policy discussion, advocacy, and field trip, and so on, like this. And this shows, sorry for the small letters, this shows that board members of our organization, underlined members joined this trip, actually. Can you just stand up and say hello to everybody? The Japanese delegation? Thank you very much. So they're all board members, and coming here. So I'm the vice chairs and the OMY area and the Umeda area. They are all vice chairs. So, I'd like to, okay, let's start. Area management. My scenario is this, but I know the time will run up before I cover everything. So you put my PowerPoint on website after the seminar, right? So if I cannot cover everything, you should visit the website and see my presentation. Well, but I will do that like this. And as a background in Japan, actually, this way. We've got a lot of buildings that were built in 1940s or to 1970s, which have to be considered renewal or redevelopment in the last decades. And neighborhood renewal started first in the big cities like Tokyo and Osaka with major property owners and developers. So we had competition among neighborhood and the expectation to urban neighborhood change drastically in 1980s from office area to 20 hours mixed community. So, and also one more thing I have to touch in is Japanese government developed a public contribution in exchange for higher floor area ratio in 1980s. So developers started to think about how their development can contribute to the surrounding neighborhood. So the three things I mentioned, urban renewal started, and 24 hours community should be built, and public contribution. And what happens? It was private-led neighborhood revitalization coming up. A lot of human-centered places were developed by private initiatives in collaboration with local governments. Like, park changed like this. Who developed? It was developers or local governments, but who managed? It is the area management organization in collaboration with the neighborhood. So these, later I mentioned, these used to be the car road, but it's now square, or it's a riverbank. So these kind of human-centered area are developed and managed by area management organization. So how many are these such organizations? Well, okay. So that's the start point that area management organization was born. But you will listen to the OMI area after my talk. That was the first area management organization that we say. It started in 1988, and then another organization was started in 98. But you see, most organizations were born around 2000 and after, until today. So it's a kind of the new phenomena after the 1990s. We have just 20 years history, but how many of area management, this way. Well, the regular member of our management Japan Area Management Organization is 36, but the number grasped through research by national government, actually the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, with Kyoto University and the Wakayama University was 574. It's quite large. But I would say this include very, very small organization or some sort of organization initiated by local governments. So I would say the kind of established area management organization are like 30 to 55 that our research group grasped. But it's, born from, it stretched from Hokkaido to Okinawa, so it's a kind of all over Japan phenomena. Oops. So, I stopped reading my transcript. So what is area management? Well, it is kind of concept of private neighborhood revitalization. So area management usually start as private initiatives led by local stakeholders, such as property owners, business operators, sometimes local residents, to improve the specific areas where they own or do businesses or living. So the starting point varies because the property owners may hope they want to raise the value of the land. But the business operator maybe think they want to gather more customers to the area. Residents, they want to raise the quality of life. So the kind of the motivation varies from area to area. But the common thing is it's a private initiative. And it developed into various activities that area management organizations that I will mention undertake And usually it's done in partnership with governmental agencies, mostly local governments. Well, this is a table that the national government, Emirates, created in 2008. And this is kind of a table that, about what area management organizations do. It's kind of a small letters, but you see, okay. There are 4 things common: visioning, and also maintenance and use of public and common spaces. So this is a hardware, but other software things really varies, like improvement and revitalization activities, like make safer communities, or promotion, marketing, revitalization, or utilize vacant lands or something. And the very important thing is strengthening community tie. So they do kind of the community things, like holding events, or provide some services, or empower community groups, so those kind of things. And usually the structure of area management organization are 2 tiers. The first tier is, it's a visioning committee. So usually someone initiating the area management invite every stakeholders to the table, discussion table. So usually governmental agencies, local businesses, merchants associations, residents, non-profit, and other private businesses, organizations, they are invited to join. And they do kind of the research and share the problems and make the vision. But the important thing is, well, in partnership with this discussion committee, we usually make more business-oriented area management organization, so-called, we call. And this often incorporated. Sometimes it's not incorporated, but we suggest them to incorporate as a business body, sometimes a non-profit organization, sometimes a for-profit organization, although the profit is not usually returned to the shareholders, it's returned to the community, but mostly incorporated. So they have their own board members and staff members, and usually this is a platform of various projects. Oops, I can't. Yeah, various projects like maybe mobility projects or a community project or something. And in each project, there are partners or volunteers or outside advisors. So they can, work with various people to make things done in their community. And they collaborate with governmental agencies. So it's a good thing, and usually, Singapore is special because you have just one tier's national government and local governments got together from our viewpoint. But in Japan, there are 3 tiers: national government, the wider regional government, and basic government, like a city or town. So, and each government, there are a lot of agencies, police, plannings, or public health. Those all agencies are related to the area management. So it's a kind of silo of governmental agencies, but we have to coordinate with all the agencies. So it's a difficulty, but one of the best things that area management have in the community is there is a voice and the hand of the community to collaborate with all the agencies of government. So how area management is funded? This is the result of the survey we did as an organization. Usually, and in the past, there is a lot of community organizations, like residents organization or merchants organization. Those organizations' funding structure, usually the ratio of membership fee is 80% or 90%. But usually, area management organizations have two major funding resources. The one is membership, but another is business revenue. And as for membership fee, it really varies. So some of the area management organization established in accordance with land readjustment, the big development, they introduce kind of a sophisticated membership scheme from the beginning. But mostly in existing area, they are struggling to make the new membership system, and they are struggling to collect the membership on the voluntary basis. But the big theme for area management is how we could secure the business revenue. And one thing, we think successful is Sapporo Station Area Management. They manage public spaces, in this case, underground walkway from stretching from Sapporo Station to another commercial core, it is called Odori. There is a underground walkway. And they Sapporo Station Area Management is officially designated as its former management organization. And the thing of public-private partnership is its wall is available for advertisement and has a zone for events to exhibit various artistic works. Of course, there is a resting area for the visitors or walkers, but these walls and the zone for events can make profit. So it becomes the big revenue for AMOs, area management organizations, like it's a Japanese yen, but 250 million annual revenue, that's approximately 90% of the revenue of this area management organization. So this kind of thing, the using public space or public facility is a big opportunity for area management. And this can be realized only when the effective public-private partnership realized. Well, and maybe you might be concerned that how the area management can be assessed or evaluated. Actually, we're challenging to establish those kind of assessment system. So usually, well, maybe Takada-san will mention, I don't know, but several area management organizations are doing a pedestrian count or activity scan. That's a, just research to know how the visitors are acting. They are sitting, they are talking, or they are smoking, or like that. So it's an activity scan, or perception survey, or number of commercial establishment, or change in property value. But it really depends. So each area management organization are thinking how to evaluate and doing several things. And we also have a discussion, Japan Area Management Network member discussed what should be included in the annual reports that Taichi was a leader. And how much do I have? 8 minutes, okay. So in the last 8 minutes, I will tell you how these kind of area management organizations are initiated. Well, you can see the table afterwards, but I categorized into 5. And the first one, area management by kind of the big companies. You can listen to the talk by OMY Association afterward. And the second one, it was like Sapporo, business partner of the PPP project. It's a public facilities, public space redevelopment. And they have business partners or like designated managers. So they do the role of area management. So that's the second pattern. And the third pattern, well, it's a kind of the experimental area management. the developers take the area management role for the limited years, like 3 years or 5 years, and then take over to the residents or local residents. And the fourth thing, it's we, in the local cities, not in Tokyo or Osaka, but there are town management organizations which has been established to revitalize the retailers. So it was born like around 2000, but some of them lost the way to revitalize. So they needed to do something new, and they found that area management may be the one. So some existing TMOs start area management functions. And the fifth one is new organizations initiated, sometimes by local governments in collaboration with residents. So these kind of 5 initiations are seen in all of Japan. So the first one will be told by OMI, and there are a lot of examples like this. And the second one was that I mentioned, that Sapporo. And as for Sapporo, that was Sapporo Station Area Management that I was mentioned, was established with joint investment of 17 local businesses and the Sapporo city government as well. And they managed 2 squares, and one of the squares was the underground walkway that I mentioned, and another one is this one. I showed the picture. 2 minutes more? And the idea is, well, they have to make profit. 5 minutes, okay. The profit, the idea is more profit, more community. So they make profit, but they don't return to the shareholder. They will return to the community. So they will do a lot of community events like this. It's a summer festival, or, well, it's very small, but some art events or some sort of the festival with residents. And the point is, the local governments established, well, in discussion with the local stakeholders, just before the facility opened. So it's really a planning process of area management. So they made a city center plan, and they did the formal planning process of the facilities. And in accordance with that, they discussed about area management. And that joint investment, the area management company started just before the walkway opened. So that's the second one. And there are a lot of such, involving kind of the park redevelopment or something like that. And the third one, I said the developer take the area management role in the limited years. It's happening like this. So many projects typed residential development recently changed into, like this. So renewal is ongoing. And at that time, the point is how to make communities, new communities. And so this is the city near Osaka. But in this case, developers pay some money for managing, to initiate and the area management organizations and take the role of area management for the first 5 years. And what they do in the first 5 years, they find local residents who are energetic about community activities and take over the area management organization. The developers provide this kind of community spaces. I think it's common in Singapore too. And the first 5 years, they do what kind of activities are needed, what the residents want. And they started this one, and after 5 years, hopefully, it will be 2022, some local governments take over the role and continue the area management. So that's the kind of the third model. And what's the fourth model? That was a local commercial merchants area. It's a Toyota city where Toyota, the car company, is located, their headquarters. It's like this. It's really typical local cities. But they have a bit redevelopment, and they have a pedestrian way as well. So the Retailers Association made an area management role, take over the area management role and make organizations and doing like this, so using street or parks or atrium, open space inside the redevelopment building and doing kind of the place-making activities. So that's the fourth. And what's the fifth? So it's initiated by local governments type. I heard that the Kawasaki city people visited Singapore yesterday, and it's in Kawasaki. So what's happened is like this, a high-rise residential building coming in. So a lot of new residents are living in this neighborhood. It's Musashi Kosugi. And the local government's worries, they're gonna, if they are successful in making communities, or if we're gonna take care of them. And they thought about, hit upon the idea of area management. So they made the area management organization before the developers come in. And what happened is residents taking care of this organization. What's the funding resources? All the residents, the household of these residential buildings pay, it's a nominal fee, but 3,060 Japanese yen. So it's really a small chunk of money, but it is collected from everybody, every household in this neighborhood. So it become a kind of independent revenue, and they do kind of the residential services. So children's workshops or some local events, or, this kind of the quality of life issues are done by area management. So it's really varies. The big companies do that, this kind of residence type area management, or local governments initiated. But the key thing is area management, I know I have no time. But there are supporting policy and program, which is really important. And also the important thing is government and private organization looking for the same direction. So it's really a critical point for successful PPP. And also people who have close identity to the area. So I don't cover this, but these are the new, relatively new governmental program that support area management. Many of them are connected to public spaces. So many area management organizations can do something at public spaces and sometimes make profit and return to the community. So those kind of governmental programs. And also others are kind of the certification of private organization as an official area management partner or planning partner of the government, so that they can propose a new plan, or they can use the public spaces, or they can discuss with local governments. So it's kind of a certification, or local government, local agreement. And the new one is a levy that Singapore and URA is trying a pilot program. But it's really new, just introduced last year, and we don't know what's going to happen next year, actually. So I don't say that. So example like this, I don't say. So the last thing is people. So, some of them are here. But as the number of organizations increase, we're having dedicated people and professionals about place management. And we think these are really important. And so we have to develop capacity building opportunities. And we do a lot of seminars or mutual learnings, or we publish the books, or kind of the online learning opportunities. So we do various things, but we're really keen to collaborate with, like Singapore and other countries, and we, advance mutual understanding internationally, and we'd like to know what other countries are doing. So using this opportunity, I would like to look for our relationship between Singapore and Japan, about place and area management. Thank you very much. Sorry for a long time.
Thank you, Dr. Yasui. Now we would like to invite Mr. Hiroaki Fujii to give a presentation on the Otemachi Marunouchi Yurakucho area. Mr. Hiroaki Fujii, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hiroaki Fujii. I've been working for Mitsubishi Estate for more than 30 years. It's not strange in Japan to work for one company. It's common. Anyway, I also am in charge of OMI Area Management Association. OMI means Otemachi, Marunouchi, and Yurakucho, the abbreviated name of the district. OMI area is located between Imperial Palace and the Tokyo Station, and next to Ginza, very famous for shopping area. I think this location is very unique in Tokyo. We define white framed area in the picture as OMI area. There are 100 buildings, and about, in the area of 120 hectares, more than 4,000 companies have its office here, and about 280,000 people work here. It's the center of the Japanese economy, I think. This is OMI area today. After the past 20 years development. Then let me go back to 30 years ago. Yeah, this is the photo taken about in 1990. At that time, globalization and advanced information technology society surged into Japan. And the brand new facilities, the requirement for brand new facilities, the collapse of a bubble economy, decrease of Japan's competitiveness, all of these urged OMI area to be redeveloped. When we were planning redevelopment, we got a simple question in our mind at the time. It is a good idea that each landlord in this area redevelop their buildings just as they like, with no common vision nor coordination. The answer was, of course, no. We thought the landlord here should get together to discuss future vision of OMI area in order to make this district great. We also thought gathering landlord is a good idea when we need to discuss future vision of this area with governmental entity, because it is a little difficult for governmental entities to take voice or proposal from a single private company into action. By the way, Mitsubishi Estate is the biggest landlord, owned 1/3 of OMI area. Yellow and red colored blocks are owned and managed by Mitsubishi Estate. Because of Mitsubishi Estate's share, we had a major role for gathering landlord. Mitsubishi Estate didn't focus on individual blocks value. We believe endeavored for both development of each buildings and the value creation of area are needed to increase total value. and area management activities push up value of area. Therefore, many of the landlords in OMI area came together and established the Council for Area Development and Management of Otemachi, Marunouchi, and Yurakucho in 1988 in order to discuss future vision of this district. Landlord, basically private sectors, established the council. But to realize the future vision, it is essential to have a discussion table with local governments. So in 1996, to realize future vision, the council launched the Advisory Committee on OMI area development with local government, which is Tokyo Metropolitan Government and Kyoto City. At the advisory committee, we discussed future vision as well and come up with method and set rules. And the advisory committee put them together in guideline for this area. I would say this is very much public-private partnership. The guideline has been revised 4 times so far, according to the social change. Based on the guideline, 3 area management organizations have been established with each purposes. In order to realize future vision, we think both hardware and software development approach are needed. Improvement of the hardware. Since the guideline was published, Mitsubishi Estate has been developing buildings continuously. One of the greatest achievements of the PPP in OMI area is restoration project of Tokyo Station. Tokyo Station was originally 3-story building, but 3rd floor ceiling partly collapsed during World War II, and the building was used temporary basis for a long time. In 1999, Tokyo Metropolitan Government and the East Japan Railway Company agreed to restore as it was and reserve Tokyo Station building. But as you can imagine, restoration needed a huge amount of money. The solution for that was needed. To produce that money, PPP reached a great method of transfer FAR, floor area ratio, above Tokyo Station. In other words, East Japan Railway Company, which owns the Tokyo Station building, was allowed to sell off unused FAR to neighbors. That achieved this spectacular landscape around the Tokyo Station. Also, Mitsubishi Estate has been endeavoring preserve historical building as much as possible. This is a great example. This original Mitsubishi first building, top left, was demolished completely in the past. But we rebuilt it as it used to be, as much as possible in 2009, with having a high-rise building back there. This is another example. You can see the old part and the new part. We developed not only buildings, but also avenues and streets. Yellow line is Nakadori Avenue. This avenue is one of great examples. This photo is Nakadori Avenue in 1967. As you can see, the avenue is basically for traffic, and the buildings along the avenue had bank retailers on the ground floor level that were closed at 3 p.m. every day. So the area became, let's say, a ghost town in the evening and on weekend, and it was not attractive to workers and visitors. This is the same avenue today. There are three main changes in comparison with 1967. The first one is the width of the sidewalk, which is 1 meter wider than before. The road now gives priority to pedestrians. Secondly, the pavement and trees have been improved, and the sculptures have been set. Thirdly, replacement of bank retailers to high-end shops and restaurants on the ground level. It was not only private sector endeavor, public-private partnership achieved this dramatic change on the avenue. Regarding underground pedestrian network, this map, which is contained in the guideline, defines the future vision of underground network. The above is the status of the underground network in 2000. After the past 20 years redevelopment, the underground network has been extended like that. The improvement of the software regarding land use type, as I mentioned before, we changed the use type of the ground floor from office to retails, cafe, boutique, and restaurants. As a result, the number of the retail shops becomes 3 times of in 2002. And we added cultural facilities and public spaces to business district. In terms of the operation of the town, we have been trying to make the most of public spaces, especially road as human-friendly spaces. With cooperation by the local government and police, the Nakadori Avenue shut cars out from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays and to 5 p.m. on weekend from 2015. As a result, it becomes pedestrian-friendly and it is easy to hold many events. So we will come to this. I'm proud of this photo. And we need to bring cultures into OMI area furthermore. So that people can enjoy music. So that people enjoy food and drinks. So that people can enjoy sports, enjoy traditional festival, enjoy more and more events. Sometimes we hold regular exercise in lunchtime, and sometimes tug of war, company competition. In winter, illumination. You can find the area is really vibrant. Through these activities, our effort has attracted people to Marunouchi. Like on weekend, the number of visitors is more than double compared to in 2002. And also, the number of the office and office workers also increased. Now, we think we are in new stage. Our latest effort to vitalize OMI area is to have a lot more business type events. We established TMO Tokyo Marunouchi, destination marketing organization last year, which consists of owners and operators of hotels and conference facilities in OMI area. OMI Area Management Association leads this new organization to attract business events. DM Tokyo Marunouchi conducts promotion to the meeting planners overseas. This is a website for DM Tokyo Marunouchi, which serves as the one-stop gateway to OMI area. Let me sum up. Public-private partnership is vital to advance development and management for cities. And not only development, but also subsequent management is a key factor to keep with values over the long term. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fujii. Now we would like to invite Ms. Takada from the Hankyu Hanshin Group to present to us the initiative for place management in Osaka, Umeda area. Ms. Takada, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Azusa Takada. I work for Hankyu Hanshin Properties Corporation, and I'm from the Umeda Area Management Alliance. For the next 10 minutes, I talk about the appeal of Umeda in Osaka and area management. First, I talk about Umeda. Does everyone here know about the Umeda area? Umeda is the name of the district that lies within the 1 kilometer radius of Osaka Station, which is the center of Osaka City. I think you can imagine what the scale of the Umeda area is when you compare to Tanjong Pagar, like this. And it takes about 30 minutes to Kyoto and 20 minutes to Kobe. And there is interchange of rail networks in Umeda. 2.5 million people per day take trains in Umeda. It is a hub of the Kansai region, which is also known as the second largest economic zone of Japan. It also has the largest concentration of commercial facilities in Japan, separating Ginza and Shinjuku in Tokyo. And large-scale reconstructions of old buildings and new constructions in early 2010s has brought Umeda even greater appeal. As in the upper left side of the screen, Osaka Station City was completed in 2011. As in the lower right side, Umeda Hankyu building was completed in 2012. As a phase 1 development, Ground Front Osaka was completed in 2013. It is where the cargo terminal station was located in. And development in Umeda is still in progress. Umeda 1-1 project involves reconstruction of 2 buildings being separated by a road into 1 connected building. It is scheduled to be completed in 2022. And Umekita Phase 2 development involves the development of 16-hectare site that is used to be a cargo terminal station. The group of company, which includes Mitsubishi Estate and the Hankyu Corporation, have bid for this project. Development of this site is in progress and completion is scheduled for 2024. In the Umekita Phase 2 development zone, the project aiming to realize the fusion site of green and innovation is in progress. It will include a public park, residential towers, hotels, retails, innovation facilities, and convention center services. Then this slide shows the official land prices published by the Japanese government every year. As you can see, the price of land in Umeda area has been rising because of the area high potential based on the fact that it has some of the best transport links in West Japan. Among other factors, and partly because of actual developments, the price shown by the purple line is for land the Umekita Phase 1 development zone. This site is located behind Osaka Station, used to be a cargo terminal station and was not even included in surveys of land prices. But now it is the highest land price in Osaka. Next, I talk about our organization, the Umeda Area Management Alliance. As I have explained earlier, large-scale projects have been completed in the Umeda area, such as creating functional and comfortable buildings. However, the overall town which holds these new buildings has numerous problems. For example, falling birth rate, aging, and depopulation. In order to tackle these problems together, the Umeda Area Management Alliance was established in 2009 by four the main property owners in Umeda, which are West Japan Railway Company, Hankyu Corporation, and Hanshin Electric Railway Company, and Grand Front Osaka TMO. And our activities are on the coloring part of the map. This is a cooperation profile of four companies. JR West, Hankyu, and Hanshin are railway companies which have stations in Umeda from 100 years ago. And they also have office buildings and commercial complex in Umeda. By the way, Hankyu Hanshin Properties Corporation, which I work for, plays owners for both Hankyu and Hanshin Railway Company. And our activities are focused on 3 concepts and 8 strategies. Concept 1, enhancing the quality of Umeda's attraction. Concept 2, making the area walkable. Concept 3, developing the area worth visiting from all over the world. Based on those concepts, we have been carrying out various activities and projects. Here is one of the examples, the Umeda Yukata Festival. The yukata is a traditional Japanese apparel that is mainly worn during summer seasons. Over 2 days period in weekend in July, people dressed in yukata come together in the crowd in front of Osaka Station, where business persons usually walk by, and partake in the traditional Japanese dance known as bon odori. In addition, we use public space such as road in these events. This shows the Umeda Snowman Festival. During the Christmas period, illuminations and music events are held with the cooperation of stores and companies in Umeda area. Also, we hold events on the crossroad as a social experiment. And since the Umeda area is the busiest transport hub, urban planning has prioritized building roads and railway links. This is why the Umeda area was not convenient for pedestrians. To resolve this problem and make Umeda a pleasant place to work, we have been established sidewalk cafes, providing electric bicycles for hire, and operating road bus within the area. And we published maps to help people visiting Umeda. And we have also been putting efforts into disseminating information overseas. This is the English website to introduce key projects taking place in the Umeda area. We are also promoting Umeda domestically and abroad through participation in the International Real Estate Trade Fair, MIPIM, and activities through the Japan Area Management Network. So in the end, the Umeda area will keep trying to evolve within sense of harmony with the environment. So I hope you visit Osaka next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Takada. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Yasui, Mr. Hiroaki Fujii, Mr. Taku Tanikawa, Ms. Takada Azusa, and Ms. Chou on stage for the panel discussion. Before the discussion begins, Ms. Chou will provide a brief introduction of the pilot Visitors Innovation District in Singapore. During the Q&A session, we would appreciate it that you can raise your hand and state your name and organization before asking any question or making comments. With this, I will hand over the time to Ms. Chou, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Maybe you'd like to join me to thank our three speakers today for sharing very interesting experiences from Japan. I think for us, it's always very fascinating to hear what other people are doing, and I'm sure there are many interesting aspects that we can learn from what we heard today. I think we all agree that place management is even more important now than before. Visitors and consumers today are all looking for experiences rather than material things. With online shopping, even when we go shopping today, it's really more about the experience than about buying the thing you're looking for. And I think place management has become very important because it can elevate the visitor experience and give reasons for people to keep coming back to a precinct. We were quite amazed that Japan has such a long history of area management. In Singapore, we've been doing it for a while, not so long, but there are currently many precincts with active precinct associations. I think many of you are here today. Singapore River, Orchard Road, Kampong Glam. There are precinct associations who have over the years been actively managing and promoting the precincts. For example, in Orchard Road, many of the events that we see, including the annual Christmas light up, is organized by the Orchard Road Business Association. And in Kampong Glam, there is a very active precinct association, One Kampong Glam, which you visited yesterday, and also Mr. Syed, the very energetic carpet guy. I think they have really been actively initiating many events in Kampong Glam, including the weekend street closures and bazaars, which has really benefited the businesses in the area. So I think we really like to encourage these positive efforts. So in recent years, I think we have been trying to work towards a more formal place management framework in Singapore, learning from some of the business improvement district framework from overseas. Intention is really to try to empower stakeholders to do more for the precincts and also to find a more sustainable source of funding where everybody contributes. So I think in 2017, 2 years ago, we invited stakeholders to come together with some seed funding from the government to form pilot business improvement districts. Today, I think we have 10 precincts who have come on board. We're very heartened to see that already a lot of them are discussing ideas and pulling together resources to bring positive impact to their precincts, and we're very encouraged by that. I think many of you are here today, and I'm sure many of you have a lot of questions for our Japanese friends later on. But before I open up the floor for discussion, maybe I'll just ask the first question. I think we're very impressed that area management has such a long history in Japan. Maybe if each of you could share, and this has been on a very voluntary basis, what are some of the success factors that has managed to sustain the interest among the stakeholders for such a long time and allow them to continue to feel that it's important and contribute to place management? Perhaps we could start with Professor Yasui.
Well, thank you very much for introducing, and summing up the Japanese experience with, it's not really a long history, because, except OMY, which have been operating about 30 years. Most area management organizations operate just, 5 to 10 years or something. So I would say everyone is struggling how to make strong partnership with governments. And government's also struggling because, as I said, it's a silo. So how they can streamline the agency from the planning, development, and management, or security to, promotion or community building. So it's, we haven't established it yet, but we got to notice that the important point. Well, I would say 2 points. That's the social capital. That social capital means a relationship among individual organizations or governments. So the trust, mutual trust, and networking, because we have the changing era. Everything has been changing. The shopping has changed online. So the business model in each industry have been experiencing change. So we have a networking, and we need more projects to start something. So as a platform on collaboration, area management, I feel that area management has been working well to provide a platform of the project. So those kind of things develop the social capital in the community. So one thing is those kind of a mutual relationship so that the new project coming up from the neighborhood. And the other thing is, I would say tactics. Tactical urbanism, that Mike Lydon, the planner of the United States, wrote. It's a publication, it's a book. So we see, at least in Japan, the planning system is so, strict. It's difficult to change the long-term plan, but you have to have a long-term plan to change, for example, a street to the plaza. So what we are doing is what we call social experiment. Let's change the street to the plaza just for one day, or just for 1 week, or maybe next year, it's expand to 2 months in OMY or something. So it's a kind of experiment. It's not a formal planning, but let's start with that. And if it is successful, we can make the whole plan. So this was completely different from the past planning process. So area management can work in this kind of the changing the planning process. So, but we need tactics to change the plan or change the mindset of the stakeholders. So the tactics and the social capital among stakeholders, these are, I would say, the most important things in area management.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am actually Taku Tanikawa, I believe all of you don't know who am I. So I am, I am also working for the Mitsubishi estate, working with the Mr. Fujii, Mr. Hiroaki Fujii. I am responsible for the area management activities in OMI area. So for the question was that sustainable funding for the area management activities or interest from the all stakeholders in that area. That's actually a good question. As the Yasui sensei said, all of the area management, the association in Japan are now struggling with it because as you saw in the slide of the Mr. Fujii's presentation, the OMI area has kind of long history to manage the area. The council, which is the council for redevelopment of OMI area, was established in 1988. The purpose of the establishment of that area management the council is to just only redevelop the building. We develop the individual building. It's kind of the hardware from the hardware thing. But at that stage, a lot of landlords in OMI area were interested in that council because the council is that got some voice to deliver their the plan or their hope to the local governments. So that's why those all in the local the landlords were interested in that activities in OMI area. But as you saw in the previous slide, in Mr. Fujii-san's slide, right now let's say a half of the buildings has already being redeveloped with the new high-rise grassy building today. So actually some of the members at the council told us Mitsubishi Estate that our building has already been redeveloped, so why we need to pay the membership fee to the council? We don't need any more. We faced a lot of that type of the behavior from the other local landlords. But then we established another area management association, which is the OMI Area Management OMI Area Management Association. It's a little bit confusing. That the council and the OMI Area Management Association is different entities. The purpose of the launch of the OMI Area Management Association is to, let's say, the kind of from the software aspects, to vitalize the city with the, very active, events or including the workers there. So that's, the right now our effort to, keep their interest in the area. But still, we are now facing a lot of we are struggling with the keeping them keeping their interest in the area. But so far we are successful. But nobody knows the future right now.
Ms. Takada?
Hi, and I cannot speak English fluently, so I speak in Japanese. Sorry. どうしましょう。マイク。梅田の場合は4社のアライアンスのうち3社が鉄道会社です。
As for Umeda area, there are 4 related companies, but the 3 out of 4 companies are railway companies.
で100年以上も前から梅田で駅を作って電車を走らせています。
So railway companies mean that they have stations on the area more than 100 years ago.
なのでその歴史の中で地元の人たちと協力しながら街を作るということをずっとしてきました。
So in the course of providing the stations and the railway road, they've been, that means that the companies have been making a very, establish a very good relationship with the people around the area.
でここ最近の少子高齢化とかそういった問題の中で本来ライバルである鉄道会社が手を組んでこのアライアンスを組んでいます。
So actually, those three railway companies are competitors. However, because we have the very common issue of aging society and the decrease of the birth rate of children, they thought it's a time to collaborate together, even though they are competitors. So three railway companies started to collaborate together.
なので直接的エリアマネジメントというのは直接的には利益は来ないかもしれないですが間接的に梅田という街が盛り上がるという共通の目標のために私たちは活動し続けることができます。
So it may be true that you cannot expect the direct profit even though the development we pay. However, indirectly, we can get a benefit. That is very true.
That's all.
Thank you for sharing. I think it's sometimes heartening to know that we do share similar challenges everywhere in sustaining interest among stakeholders. But I think what I can hear amongst the three of them is also the common belief that it's still important to have that kind of networking and collaboration and human connections, and that there is benefits to still work together. So I think that's very inspiring. Could I maybe now invite the floor to ask questions? Please introduce yourself and your organization.
My name is Edward. I'd like to say some my comment. I feel the Japanese method is not suitable for Singapore because Japanese people are very cohesive. They are very cooperative with the government. You know, Singaporean is everything pushed to government. If government do no good, put it on Facebook and blame the government. You see, you're not efficient. You know, going to vote you down in the next election. That is Singaporean. So it's a more authoritative, management. So that's what I feel. I feel it's not so suitable because Singaporeans don't have a community spirit. Don't have a community education. You know, if you have this spirit, then you can cooperate with the government, like Japanese, you know. So what's your comment?
I was hoping that the questions would be directed at our speakers. But since you directed to me, I may also direct to our audience. Would anyone like to share your views? Because I think we have many stakeholders here who feel that they are working well together and willing to work together with government and private sector.
Well, I'm Mr. Kwek Ting Sui from Federation of Material Association, which we cover most of the HDB heartlands estate retailer. I cannot be totally agree with that gentleman. Yeah, it's quite common in Singapore, but not everybody like that. So we have been trying for the last 30 years to do the same thing with our Japanese friend. So the first question I want to ask is, if this is the estate which have the multiple ownership, how are you going to convince the individual landlord, not operator, landlord? Landlord, maybe they just rent the shop out to the tenant, that's all. How to convince them to participate in this exercise? That's number one. Number two, you don't have the legal right to control the infrastructure, right? Any placement committee or council, you don't have a legal right to control the common area. So how are you going to convince the local government to allow you to do the upgrading? FMA is going to start 2 projects, similar project with what you have done. We hope by this year we can have 2. Next year we are going to have 4 or 6 projects. Actually, we tried for the last 20 years already. So hope that one day we can share this with you. And we hope that if you have a time, please visit some of the housing estate, neighborhood center or town center. Thank you very much.
Professor Yasui, would you like to respond? Yeah, I think there were two questions. The first question was, how do we encourage the different stakeholders to come on board? I think the second question is, for some of the public areas that are not within the jurisdiction of the private stakeholders, how do you work together with the government, am I correct, to do the placemaking initiatives in the public space?
Thank you very much for the valuable questions. Well, we have a lot of area management organizations, but different from the BITS pilot in Singapore, these are all voluntary, private-based organizations. So that means not all the landlords join. Actually, I would say, well, I mean, in OMI area, more than 30%, of buildings are owned by Mitsubishi Estate, so the conditions are different. But other area, I would say maybe 20 or 30% of landlords, mainly the major, the big landlord initiated and talk to other major landlord and start something. So gradually, of course, some other landlord or business operators join in. If some successful thing is happening, they notice. But the starting point is really, few major landlords challenge. It's an honest, situation, I would say. And the second thing is, I think, about the relationship with local governments, I think. And I think situation is more difficult in Japan. Well, maybe the gentleman doesn't think about that. But, in the case of public park, the park is taken care of by the park department, and the street is taken care of by the road department. So it's really a silo. So from the viewpoint of area management or property owners, it's really difficult to convince local governments that it is important to change those places, not only for, for example, for the car, for the split, but also that the road can be a place for communication or making some the events, and sometimes the road can be the place for making profit, that I said, that's returned to the community. So this kind of thing, it's always difficult to convince the local government officials to convince that. So what is happening in several cities is, like Singapore, some of the local governments like Osaka or Sapporo that I mentioned, they have initiated a new department of taking care of place management, what we call area management. So there is a person or some division taking care of area management, and they kind of always talk with the landlord or area management organizations and what should be done and what he or she should be done in the government. He has to coordinate with maybe road department or health department. And so these discussions are made in Osaka or Sapporo and the other cities. So that's the one starting challenge in several local government.
Thank you. And maybe to the gentleman, is there anything that you like to do in the public realm? I think maybe we can also discuss separately. Next question.
Hi, Iman from National Volunteer and Philanthropy Center. We are a non-profit here promoting and enabling volunteerism and philanthropy in Singapore. I just want to know if there's any role for non-profits organization in Japan in the placemaking that you have done? That's the first question. The second one is actually directed to Umeda State, where you mentioned about 3 real companies who are actually competitors coming together to solve the issues faced by an aging society. I'd love for you to elaborate more, as Singapore is similar to Japan, is also an aging society. Thank you.
Eh, そうですね、鉄道は公共サービスという国が多いと思います。でも日本はそうじゃない。
Yeah, I believe most of the countries, the railway companies, railway road is owned by government. However, in Japan, it is not owned by private companies sometimes of it. But other than that, we have a property agent, real estate management business, and that department, that company is organizing the events on the road.
なので、その不動産事業の収益を上げるためにも大阪の梅田というところを活性化させたいという思いでしています。
So it is very important to revitalize the Umeda area, not only because of the railway, but also the getting some profit from the department of the real estate.
答えになってますか？
Does he answer your question?
Private railway company.
I see. So basically the 3 rail companies actually came together by them on their own. I see. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Eileen Wong from Singapore University of Social Sciences. I have a question for the speakers, and this is related to the question of sustainability of the area management schemes. All the examples you've given are successes. You have seen prosperity, you have seen vibrancy, return to the city, and so on. Now, are there any examples where experiments like this have failed, and what can we learn from these failed experiments?
Mr. Fujii, would you like to answer? Since you've had the longest experience with area management in the Marunouchi area. Or failure. I think she's asking, has any of the experiments not been so successful in the past? Yes.
Thank you for the very good question. Well, I think you know, but this is kind of a social movement. It's completely different from the government program. So that means, we don't have kind of the standard to measure which one is successful or which one is a failure. So I would say, well, some of the area management organizations in local cities, not in like these central cities in Tokyo, Osaka, there are still, area management organization which is too much, which are getting too much support from local governments. So I would say that is not private initiative anymore. So that is maybe from the viewpoint of public, private initiative should be the area management. That might be the failure because it's not sustainable. Then once the government support end, the area management challenge may be ending soon. Well, it's one answer, and well, social experiment. Well, and also, as I said, tactics is very important, and many neighborhoods are doing social experiment, so making the road for square just for one day. But, well, what's the next action? They have to think. So, but some of the neighborhood are doing social experiment every year. So they have to think about the next action. Maybe the local government should think about next action. The next action may be the renewal of the street into the complete plaza. But some of the, well, this is very, I mean, criticism that I have, but some of the, I mean, area management challenges are doing experiment for too long. So that I would say, not a successful challenge.
Mr. Fujii or Mr. Tanikawa, would you like to share something from the Marunouchi experience? Can I invite the next question, please? We probably have time for one or two more questions.
Hi, my name is Vivian. I run a small family business, and we deal with heritage properties in quite a few areas where the business improvement district, we're trying to bring that about. My question is, in your examples, does everybody in the precinct contribute financially, first of all, to these efforts, these place management efforts? Because by the sounds of it, it's a lot of larger landlords. And so my question is, do the smaller landlords get on board? And is there a threshold you have to reach? Yeah, that would be my question.
Thank you for the question. Actually, most in the shop accumulated area, the retail area, usually there is a retailers association, the merchants associations, which is still strong. So they collect membership fee. And then sometimes when redevelopment occurs in the neighborhood, area management organization that we mentioned start. So what happened is major landlord like developers or something invite merchants association or retailers association to join as a representative of the small shop owners, and the association pay something, or they can be the community partner like that. So it really depends on the district, and well, maybe so the merchant association joining, but sometimes the individual shop owners, the landlords, want to join to, I mean, be more proactive. So in that case, well, they have the different membership, and they pay some nominal fee or some fee. So it really depends, but there are several opportunities for them to join fiscally.
Maybe one last question from the floor.
Hi, Rodney from OUE Commercial REIT. Just wondering, from a financial standpoint, how many of your events that you organize on the street are actually self-funding, and what percentage are self-funding, whereby you don't have to contribute towards helping the event, go through?
Rodney, do you mean for the events to pay for themselves? I think what he means is if the organizer doesn't need to put in the money to organize the event, but the event is revenue generating and is able to be self-funding.
Sorry, in Japanese. OMI においては2種類のイベントがあります。
Okay, regarding OMI, there are two kinds of events.
一つは自らエリアマネジメントアソシエーションが主催するイベント。OMI エリアマネジメントアソシエーションが主催する。
So the number one, managed by the OMY Management Association.
そのための予算として、年間、2000万円ぐらいあります。
For this event, the budget is allocated about 20 million yen per year.
それは、独自の、例えば、エリアマネジメントアドバタイジングビジネスっていうのがあるんですけど、
There is a common saying that that's Area Management Advertising Association.
ビジネスっていうのがあって、
business.
でそれで収益を独自に稼いでいます。
So individually they can earn, the profit.
でそれを使ってさっきのラジオ体操とか、あるいは夏祭りとかそういうものに使う。
So those budgets are used for the radio exercise. You just saw it, and then also the event, like a summer festival, Natsumatsuri.
でもう一つのイベントは、サードパーティーが、この場所を使ってここで主催するのを、アレンジ。
The second type is that it will just rent the place to the third party, and then they will manage the event.
で彼らがお金を負担して、例えばランニングのナイキとか、ファーニチャーのアイケアとかがここを使ってイベントをします。
So those third companies such as Nike or IKEA, of course they will fund for the event, and then they will conduct the event here.
でこの道路を使うときにはローカルガバメントすごいネゴシエーションが必要なので、それを我々がやって、でそのためのフィーも取ります。
取るのはどこからですか？
主催者がないとか。
OMI が取るわけですね。Okay, and then upon organizing the event that is operated by the third party, they need to have a very hard negotiation with the local government. So we will intervene and then try to persuade the local government. And because of that, we can collect the fee for the negotiation.
なるべくサードパーティーからのイベントをたくさん誘致することが非常に重要です。
So it is very important to have as many events organized by the third party. A third company.
Thank you very much. Are there any burning questions before we round up? I think otherwise, really like to thank our three speakers today. I think we've been inspired by the very collaborative effort from the Japanese model. I'm sure a lot of us will walk away, and hopefully, I think we are already trying various ways and experimenting different ways to work together with the private sector and the public sector. And I'm sure today we'll go away with a lot more ideas about how we can do this. So let's give them one more round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Yasui, Mr. Fujii Hiroaki, Ms. Takada Azusa, Mr. Tanikawa Taku, and Ms. Chou for the lively discussion. Now we'd like to invite Mr. Koo Ting Chai, Executive Director for the Center of Livable Cities, to present tokens of appreciation to the panel. Mr. Koo, please. Mr. Koo will be presenting 2 books to the panel. The first book is Making Cities Livable, publications published by the Center of Livable Cities, which documents the past notable lectures from CLC, lecture series, and another book, A River Transformed, published by URA on the transformation of the Singapore River. Next, we would like to invite the panel and Mr. Koo to take a group photo together. I'm sure we have learned a lot from the panel today. We know that a sustainable long-term plan is crucial to change and improve an area, and every stakeholder is important to play a part. Now we have come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you for your participation today. We will upload the slides to our website, and we would like to invite Mr. Koo and the panel to the pilot BID, Pre-Scenes Task Group and work group members to the function room next door for a networking event. The next CLC lecture will be on Innovation District, Past, Present, and Future, and it will be held on the 7th March 2019, Thursday, at M&D Auditorium. You may RSVP through CLC website. For the latest update on CLC lecture, please visit our website or follow us on Facebook.